It's showtime. That's what my computer says to me. Hey, happy Friday. Rick Turner, head coach of the Jamaica national basketball team. Uh, Hooking in on the Jamaica basketball project with y'all. Thanks for joining in. I've got a guest coming on, still waiting for him to dial in. In the meantime, I got a couple of friends joining me who are, I want to say hi to and check in on a Friday night, see what's going on during this, all this craziness. The first one we'll bring in is Mr. Mialovich. Richard, how was your Friday? Happy Friday.
Thank you, Rick. Had a good Friday. Had a good day today. You know, they kind of blend together, but I got some stuff done. So no,
Good.
another day.
Well,
One day at a time. One day at a time.
One day at a time. Let's bring in our other friend, Coach Stumbo. What's up, buddy?
Yeah. Good
You
night,
good?
everyone.
Friday
Hello,
night.
world.
It's Friday night. DJ
Yeah.
Stumbo should be, just getting out of bed, getting ready to go to a party.
It's more like I'm getting ready to go to bed.
There's no doubt. Any
It has
any
been,
changes, Coach? Any changes down there? Still, you've got the 3 p.m. curfew. Nothing's changed. Is it getting better? Do you guys see the light at the end of the tunnel?
wow. I think it's more like getting worse.
Really?
Yeah, like every other day we recognize that it's like 20 other more persons contracted this virus. Those are the numbers that we're receiving now. So it seems as if it's getting worse. Maybe it's not a bad sign because most time with these type of stuff, it has to get worse before it gets better. So
Yeah.
maybe this is the worst stage.
Yeah.
We really don't know. Um, Hopefully, we'll go sooner or later. The curfew is now from 6 to 6.
Okay.
It's very strange for Jamaica, as I say, based on our culture. Like on the street, in my community, which is Arlington Town, um, there's a person that does jerk chicken by the end of my
Yeah.
road, street side jerk chicken. It's
Yeah.
normally like the hot spot. Today, the jerk chicken lady, normally she will be out like maybe 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. She was out like from 10:30, you know,
Gee.
try and catch sales extra early to go in because you have to basically stop all business transaction by 4. So
Oh,
work
okay.
hours is now 8 to 4, and everybody
Yeah.
has to be off the street by 6.
Yeah.
You
No
know,
messing
but
around. Well, one of the good things that I've noticed out of this whole situation is I logged into Facebook yesterday and I saw Coach Stumbo getting a workout in.
um, whoa. Normally, with coaching, coaches does not get the time to work out. You're working out the kids, you're working out, all type of athletes, but you don't get the time. So I think with this COVID thing, I'm taking the time out to try and not to gain too much weight. Let's put it that way.
That's just isn't it? That's the trick, right? It's not about losing weight as much as it is everyone's stuck inside. You just don't
Yeah,
want to gain weight, right?
yeah, yeah. That's more of the target, not
Yeah,
to gain, because
yeah,
you're at home, you'll be eating more. You'll be just sitting down, maybe on social media, and that's basically it. You're not getting out to do any activities. So I go on the street and I do a little run, walk run. Wow. I do a little walk run, and after the walk run, I go around and do some physical, some workout. Some push ups,
yeah.
sit ups,
Good.
squats. The program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. We shout out to Ricardo Johnson who's watching live tonight. Says you'll make it out, but need to stay disciplined while you guys are down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Rich, what are you doing?
That's
How are
also
you
a coach.
staying active? Are you, Rich? Are you staying active? You getting out and getting a run in, or
Well, the tiny little park and lake near my house here that a lot of people walk on. It's about 3 miles around, and they've made it a one way. Kind counterclockwise. You can only go around if they have signs that says you have to be, so everyone's walking, which is kind of funny. So no bikes anymore. And you can't pass any. Well, I guess you could pass people, but they kind of want everyone to stay in an organized fashion. So it's kind of interesting looking down to see everyone kind of. There's a lot of people still walking. I don't go down there, but I'll walk the neighborhood, long walk with the dog. I used to have a hidden set of stairs that I would go run the stairs a little bit, and then some people have found it. So I went over there, I don't know, a week ago to go kind of run the stairs, and there's 2 young guys, and I'm like, well, now I can't do it. Anyway.
Yeah.
And trying to do stuff at home. I don't know. Trying to stay active where I can, but it's definitely hard.
Yeah.
Definitely hard.
Well, there's a dude I know pretty well who is, speaking of active and physically fit, and a guy who never misses an opportunity to get a workout in is my friend, Coach Morgan. There he is. How you doing, buddy? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you hearing me?
Yeah. Yeah, you had some problems logging in. I know the Wi-Fi's a little spotty.
Yeah, I had some issues trying to sign in. It's good to have you guys with me.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. You're in St. James, and for those in our U.S. audience, that's in the Montego Bay area. How are things there? I mean, that's so dependent on tourism. I would imagine that it's got to be pretty tough for everybody right now.
It's a little bit tough. It's also a setback in terms of tourism. We're trying our best to keep safe, regardless of the episode that is affecting us now.
Yeah. So we met a number of years ago when you were a camper at the jump ball basketball camp. And I remember you back then, and then we reconnected maybe 2 or 3 years ago at the Star Search camp, where you were wearing the coach's shirt instead of the player's jersey, which was great to see. And then over that time, you were named the head coach at GC Foster College, which is pretty exciting for you. So just kind of tell me, I mean, you've always been such a good player down in Jamaica and locally there, and been a part of the basketball scene, but what made you want to get into coaching? What attracted you about getting into it?
Just to touch back a little on my adventure or the history of being a part of the jump ball camp.
Mm-hmm.
It was very exciting. I mean, I traveled all the way from Montego Bay to Kingston just to be a part of the jump ball camp. I've learned so much from you guys as a youngster, and I've also won numerous awards during the jump ball camp. So, I mean, I've got awards for camper of the day. I remember as a player, 5'8", 5'9". I mean, I've been dunking on guys that are 6'2", 6'5", and I was just in high school. I put in all of that work because the intention was to, gain a scholarship to go overseas and, to gain the experience in terms of see what could happen at that level.
Mm-hmm.
So, I put in all of that work. Also know that opportunity of being at the jump ball camp also turned over into going to the Star Search camp. So I started the Star Search camp as a camper, and I also garnered the experience there. Overseas coach being there, also trying to get your talent seen. And then I remember, it's not just about playing the game, but also all that knowledge that I've acquired from the jump ball camp and from the Star Search camp. I think I should actually impart this knowledge to the youngsters. And from there on, I started enjoy coaching. I mean, I also love the athletic part of it. So the transition between coaching and being an athletic coach, both of them come in hand. So it makes me a better coach there on.
Coach, I want to bring someone else in who had to hop off for a second, was on before you got on. Another member of our staff, Coach Stumbo, is
Yeah.
in Kingston on a Friday night, locked in just like you on a Friday night. And I know he wanted to say hi as well.
Yeah. Good night, Coach Morgan. Blessings.
Blessing, Coach Tumba. Good to have
Yeah.
you.
Yes. Yes. It's
How
good to see
things
you,
on your
sir.
side? How things on your side?
Well, not bad. I think my community is being disciplined and obeying the government. And staying with the rules, working with the rules. Of course, it's a challenge. It's a challenge everywhere. You know, um, you always, as a coach, you normally not so much worried about yourself, but maybe about your athletes. The ones that you coach. Hope they are doing well. Hope Jamaica basketball doing well in terms of all the persons, stakeholders, shareholders, you know, um, athletes, throughout this time. And Jamaica is a strong country. It's a country that always figures out a way to survive. So we know we'll get past this sooner or later. We'll get past it.
Coach Morgan, question for you. So you mentioned that when you were doing the jump ball camps many years ago, the camp
Yes,
was in Kingston and you were in Mo Bay.
I
How
was
were you,
in
how did
Mobay.
you tell people that aren't familiar with the Jamaica layout and map and landscape, just how difficult, especially back then, it was to get back and forth.
It was very difficult during that time. I mean, we didn't have the highway now that we have now. So it would probably take me about 3 to 4 hours to get into Kingston and another 3 to 4 hours to get back. So I mean, the camp would normally start in the morning. So I would have to leave Mobay like say 5 o'clock in the morning just to get into Kingston.
Wow.
So it was a little difficult getting into Kingston, but you love the game. There's this passion and the drive for it. So it doesn't matter how far you have to travel to play basketball, you're going to get there.
So,
So,
how old were you when you went to your first camp, Coach Morgan?
I was about I think 16, 17,
Oh,
somewhere there.
okay. And
Yes, somewhere there.
what are your first impressions that you had of attending that camp? I mean, obviously you came a long way for it. What are some of your early impressions of the camp and Coach Turner?
It was good. I mean, Kyle was very impressive in the morning, getting us ready for the camp. So I mean, that I was whenever I see that guy in the morning, I'm like, this guy is a professional. So he always impressed me. Yes, he gets me going in the morning for the camp. The layout of the camp was very good. The station, so we moved from dribbling to passing to shooting, and that was new for me, knowing that this was not an exposure for me in the school that I was coming from. So that was very good. Moving from station to station, getting a chance to develop the different skills that are required in playing the game.
Did you feel like you learned a lot in those just in terms of just pure fundamentals in those first days of the camp?
Yeah, I learned a lot. The fundamentals were good. I mean, every day you do something new at each station. So it was very good. I enjoyed it.
No. Oh,
you
good.
know, what was so different about it back then, uh, Coach, both coaches. We didn't have any music at the camp like we do now.
No, we didn't have any music.
How did we survive?
Wow.
We we
And
used to
hot sun.
we used to build that mantra. I mean, by team motivation. So we used to made our own rhythms from our feet and from our hands. So that was what we used to use to motivate us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was looking around and trying to get some background information on you a little earlier today, and this popped up, which I had no idea of. What is what is this? Air Morgan. I had no idea.
I mean, it's
He might be
it's
coming on
basically a long.
the final dance.
That's a
It's
pretty cool article. I know you tell everybody how tall are you? You're not a skyscraper.
no, I'm actually 5'9",
Yeah.
5'9" flat.
And no problem at the time. I don't know if you still can, but no problem going in and just dunking on
No, I mean I could dunk on a 12-foot rim
guys. For real.
for it.
Wow, nice.
Coach
Nice.
Stumbo, did you ever play with this guy?
Say again?
Did you ever play with this guy?
Yeah, I'll be the one passing the ball above the rim for him to go and get it.
Yeah. What do you-
Interestingly though, he played with someone who has been a part of the national program for a while. Played in the NBA for I think 3 years. Been around the world. I think currently playing in France. As a matter of fact, he's stuck in France with this pandemic. Wanted to get home, but unfortunately, borders closure and stuff. Speaking about Samad Samuels, who played 3 years with Cleveland Cavaliers. Mr. Morgan here would have played with him at Mushet. Am I correct, sir? Sir Morgan?
Yes, you're
Would
correct.
have played with him at Mushet. So interestingly, this man played with a NBA player. You
I
know?
think I got a throwback photo here.
Ah.
Is that him there? Is that Samardo in there?
Yeah,
Or no?
yeah, he's there in the back.
The
Mr.
tall
Morgan
one?
can tell us more about that.
What about this team, Coach?
Um, I remember this team I was in my final year in high school. Was a very, very good team. We were also up for winning the national championship. So it was a very good team. That was also the year Samada was exposed at the Star Search camp, and I think that was also the year he got an opportunity to go overseas as well, to start high school and then on to college. I mean, we're both good friends. It's always a pleasure when he comes down in the summer. He normally spends like 2 to 3 weeks with me, and we do some physical work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so tell me about getting the job at GC Foster and what you're trying to do there because I know that they have a tradition of success, and you're taking over for someone that has had a long successful career. That's hard footsteps to follow. Tell me about that challenge and what you've been doing so far to try to meet it.
Um, Before I get into that, I just want to say I'm also a past student from the GC Foster College.
That's correct. And play.
I've won 4 championships. Yes. As a player, I've won 4 championships for the college, and I'm very proud of being a custodian. So I want to say that I'm a past student of that college.
Coach Morgan, let me interrupt you, okay?
Yes.
I want to interrupt you for a second. So there's a question for you from Ricardo Johnson. He wants to know what high school you went to.
Mushet High School, that's in Trelawney, Wakefield.
Okay. All right. So tell us about GC Foster and the start of your coaching career there.
All right. So as I said, I am a past student from the GC Foster College. I did 5 years, won 4 championships, and those championships are very memorable. So we keep those hanging on the wall. I always look at those. All right. During my tenure as a student at the GC Foster College, I always reflect, saying that I would want to go back to that school to even coach or to be a lecturer there. I mean, it's a very, very good school. It's the GC Foster College, the #1 in the Caribbean. So I always say that I want to go back there to teach or to coach. After graduating, I was teaching at the William Nib High School for about 2 years. I heard about the opportunity and I for of an opening for a lecture, and slash coach. So I jumped onto it immediately. Did the interview, I got through, and then that's when the journey began. So in my first year coaching, I coached both the male team and the female. The male team got to the semifinal, but we didn't get to the finals. For the female team, though, we did capitalize on a championship during that year. And also in the second year, also we were championship for the female. It is a very, very big shoes to fill, knowing that the previous coach, of course, is very experienced, a lot of knowledge behind what he does. And of course, it wasn't an easy road. So during my tenure there now, the plan is to see how best I can continue that legacy of championship every year.
So tell me, I'm not even myself all that familiar with how recruiting works and compared to like in the States. And I sort of have a feeling, and tell me if I'm wrong about this. I have a feeling like um, people are picking the colleges they're going to more on the academic programs that they offer as opposed to the athletic. I'm saying as an athlete, and I could be totally wrong here. Tell me, please, because GC Foster is primarily like a physical education college. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if you're not interested in a physical education degree, you may need to go to a different college. So that must present some challenges to you from a recruiting standpoint.
All right. Yes, we're a college that actually teaches physical education, but that's not just the limit for us. If you're interested in being a coach, of course, we offer the level one and level two coaching degree, associate degree. Also, if you're interested in massage, there's also that program as well. Of course, it is a sports college, so most of what we do surrounds sport. If you're interested in being like a accountant or a doctor or a lawyer, of course, then another institution would be the best for you to go to. Yes, it does pose a challenge in terms of recruiting because there are quite a few players that have the potential that would fit in the team that we have, but because we may not offer what they want to study, then of course it poses a challenge for us.
Coach Stumbo, you're coaching kind of high school level kids. And do many of your athletes aspire to go on and play at local Jamaican colleges as well?
Yeah. Well, truth is, in Jamaica, um, most of the kids aspire to go overseas.
Right.
But
But if they don't have that opportunity,
yeah, that's like the first thing that they work towards. Um, if fall short of that, what you'd find that they would want to pursue their tertiary education, locally, of course, here. Um, so you'll find that a kid once not opening that door overseas, they would want to go to a college out here. And every institution has its struggle. I am currently coaching at CMU Caribbean Maritime University. Um, and just like Coach Morgan has a struggle based on what the institution offers, I too have my struggles, based on what a child with potential who you believe that you can work with and grow with, and hopefully both of you have success. Sometimes that child does not see the institution that you're working with as the best one based on what they're offering there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So hearing from Ricardo Johnson, who's the previous coach? Give a backstory. This sounds interesting. I think both Coach Stumbo and Coach Morgan could touch on this. First, Coach Morgan, talk about Coach Remeke and what he's done for basketball in Jamaica.
Of course, Mr. Mickey is the foundation for basketball at GC Foster. He has won numerous titles. Of course, before he had retired, he has also won his last title, which is also very good. Um, he's also in charge of development for basketball in Jamaica. So he's very good at what he does. He's in charge of basketball at all levels. And he's also responsible for my success and where I am today. So thumbs up to Mr. Remy Key. He's doing a very good job so far, and I hope that he will continue on that path.
Yeah. Coach Stumbo and I were talking. I don't know if it was last week or when it was, but we were talking about just kind of the challenges. Both of you guys are, part of the Jamaica basketball program, but also you're coaching your own programs, and and you're trying to win at your own schools, and so there's just an interesting dynamic between guys that are rivals. Whether it be your rival college, your rival high school, and the things that you go through, that everyone everywhere goes through against their rivals and recruiting against other people, and then the challenge of kind of trying to bring it together to do something great for the country moving forward. And that's got to be kind of a hard dynamic to navigate. Coach Stumbo, don't you think? We were talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, this is very challenging. Jamaicans, I think, are very emotional when it comes to this. So, like, um, you will work so hard for your program. Like for me and Mr. Morgan here, Cleon, we're good friends. And but when we're competing, it's just about shaking hands and that's it. There's no friends here until after the game. After the game now we're back to being friends. And of course both of us know that this is not just only for example CMU or the GC Foster or any other of those prestige colleges or universities that competes in basketball for the country, but this is about growing our athletes so we can compete internationally. So after we compete in the respective college competitions and so forth, of course, the main thing is to make sure our athletes can compete at the global level, international level.
Coach, talk about, if you would, just that whole dynamic of really being a fired up competitor with people that you're also in a group with, trying to reach a goal that's historical, that's never been done before, and that goal being the 2024 Olympics in Paris.
Coach Morgan, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't hear. Could you repeat?
Yeah, no, I just said, why don't you talk a little bit about that, how difficult it is to be competing day in and day out with people like Coach Stumbo or various other colleges and coaches, and you're up against, trying to get players against each other, and then at the same time you need to work together to move basketball forward.
Um, it might be difficult for some of the coaches, but for me, I know that it's just a game. So regardless that we're playing against each other, I mean, at the end of the game, we're still partners, we're still friends, we're still teammates, we're still up for the same objective. So I mean, even though I will have a game against another school and that coach is a very good friend of mine, I mean, once it's game day and that coach touches the court, I mean, I'm not smiling because I want you to see the seriousness that I am here for the title, But I mean, after the game, of course, then everything goes back to normal. So it doesn't really matter what happens during the game. I mean, we just have to leave everything behind us after the game. Also, when both teams are playing together, it's also very important that we observe the players from our opponents. So we might see players that have the potential that, we could say, boy, this player could get a chance to try out in the national trials. So it's not just only about playing against each other, but it's also observing the players that you're playing to see if these players can actually get a chance to fit in the national program.
Yeah. Talk about some of the local guys, both of you, if you would, at your level at the university and the college level. Talk about some of the local guys. I'll start with you, Coach Morgan. Maybe not just the guys at GC Foster, but guys around the league that you're seeing that have a lot of promise and potential to get better and maybe someday be a part of the program.
I mean, of course, there are a few players that are at GC Foster that has the potential of being a part of the national program. Michael also have some very good players as well that are promising. I mean, they have two tall players that could also get an opportunity to try out in the national trials as well. So, I mean, CMU has a few players as well that are also looking very good. I mean, their program is rising down there in CMU, and thumbs up to Coach Tumbo for doing a great job on that side as well. Yes, so I mean, Michael has a few good players as well. All right, and they are promising players. So I mean, if we plan to use a few local players, in fact, I wish that happens, and I mean, we could also look in that direction as well.
To support what you just said about Michael, so those two tall players, I think maybe 6'10", we're looking at with height and size. One of them is Nikolai. He's on the list. On one of the lists. The other guy would be Ashani. That really tall guy, big dude, playing for a while. Also plays for the Urban Knights National League team. You have a player that has risen, lift this game so high. He's also from Jamaica, which the Jamaica University, they are champions of Intercal this year. They have Jerome Thomas. They call him Stammer. A very good player. A player who we think could be a part of this program. Um, you have younger player. I'm kind of trying to call some names off the top of my head here. You have like from CMU program. You have the shooter, a guy that really can shoot. Ramon Spence, more popularly known to the basketball community as Bumpy. You have at UE, you have Dashawn Boyd, really good game. Really can shoot the ball. You know. Um, you have Passion. What's his correct name? Whoa, why can't I remember? But we know him as Passion. He's a young player. Um, leave high school 1 year now. In college, played 1 year at college thus far. An impact player from the St. George's College. Um, you have quite a few. You have quite a few. You have a kid Alex from UTech program. So there's a lot of youngsters around that are working on the game, and I think more than likely they will get an opportunity, to express themselves, to show themselves, and hopefully they might get the chance to be a part of this process.
Okay, so let me ask each of you, Coach Stumbo, Coach Morgan. I mean, what you guys are there and know a lot of the players within Jamaica. What do you guys think it will take to qualify? I mean, there's a lot of things, and there's a lot of really good national teams. But what, in your guys' opinion, what do you think it will take for Jamaica to qualify for the 2024 Olympics? Give me some of your input and what you think. Outside of just, obviously, you have to find, you got to get talented players. Give me some of the other things that you guys think will help Jamaica qualify for the 2024 Olympics in Paris. Start with you, Coach Stumbo.
It definitely will. It it definitely will take hard work. That's a given. It takes dedication. You know, these youngsters who aspire to be a part of the team has to be working like right now. They have to be, maybe working out, some way somehow. Each person will have to be playing at their best, and they have to be prepared to go up as against the best and see themselves nothing less than the best. Because if let's say our first match will be up against the US team. You're talking about Kevin Durant, LeBron James. We have
Sure.
to not see these persons as the Kevin Durant and as the LeBron James, and just see them as a next basketball player who is unfortunately on the next team that we're about to crush. So
Sure.
it's about lifting yourself, being motivated to the job. I think we have a wonderful coaching staff, so it's also about trust. Trust in the direction of the coaches, the direction of the managers. And yes, it will take a very structured plan. That's for sure.
Coach Moore, give me some of your thoughts. Did I lose you? Coach Morgan?
Yeah, I'm just hearing you
I
now.
don't know if you can hear me.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Give me some of your thoughts on I mean, I know some of this, as Coach Stumble was saying, I think you have to start to have young players start to really see themselves at the same level as some people that they probably really look up to. And you mentioned some of these NBA guys or whatever that play on the US team. But obviously there's a lot of I don't know how many teams qualify for. Do you know how many teams actually qualify for an Olympic? I don't
24.
even know. So 24 teams. I have a lot of countries and a lot of really, I mean, there's a lot of really good national teams. I don't have it as the depth of knowledge, but give me some of your ideas as a young coach, a good player, and what it's going to take, from your side to really instill in some of these players when you find the handful of players that you think will qualify for the team. What's it going to take to have Jamaica qualify for the first time, for the Olympics? And we realize it's a lofty goal. And I'm just here as helping Rick out and trying to gain exposure and whatever I can do. Yeah. So give me some of your take on it, Coach.
All right. What I do believe is that it's very important that we really identify a bunch of players that we want to work with. So when we do identify a bunch of players that we want to work with, then of course we would have a group that we would have in training on a daily basis. So of course it would give them enough chance to gel together as players and as a team. So if we take too long to identify those that we want to include, then that will be a problem. I mean, as a youngster,
Yeah.
of course, I mean, knowing that I will get an opportunity to go to the Olympics to represent my country, that should be enough to motivate me to want to be doing some individual work on a daily basis, knowing that I'll be going up against some of the best players in the world. So of course that should be enough to motivate. So also one of the main thing though, I think that we have to identify those players that we actually want to work with and try to get them together and start the training session as early as possible.
So that they can,
So,
of course, the young players can start to see themselves, as, hey, we're, just, yeah, the U.S. is one thing. I mean, we obviously know, the NBA has a lot of really good players, but there's a lot of countries that have some players in the NBA. There's a lot of really, really good players. Well, anyway, I'm excited to see the progression of this and happy to, meet you guys or you guys talk about it. Anyway, go ahead, Rick.
I just was going to say, you mentioned, I think, Stumbo, you mentioned St. George's, and it made me think, did I read the other day that Coach Brown retired?
yes. Whoa.
Yeah, he's
That
been doing that forever.
Whoa.
He's a good man, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point in time, I think you have to close it because he's a big man. That's a big man, you know, a grown man. But he has contributed so much to Jamaica basketball. You know, he has sacrificed so much, helped so many kids. You know, he's he has done so much for that institution, the St. George's College. There has always been there. You know, you can't say Jamaica basketball and don't say St. George's College. You know, and he's such a big part of that. He also worked with the national program, um, and did well. Um, wonderful guy, and it's a great loss, so to speak. But I think, you know, you have a couple young coaches coming up, you know, so it's an opportunity for somebody. But I also say it's a loss.
Coach Morgan, did you ever play for or have some interaction with Coach Brown?
No, I've never played against Coach Brown before,
Yeah.
but I know he's a very good coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, all coach will be a coach when it comes to a game.
Yeah. So I'll let you guys go here in a minute. I just wanted to tell people that are watching that don't know this, and I think I've told both of you this, and if I haven't, I should have. But you know, one of the reasons why I wanted to have each of you involved with the program, um, beyond your knowledge and love of basketball and whatnot, is that I know that in my observations of each of you, I know that I can trust you. And when I say I can trust you, I don't mean that I can trust you with a secret. I mean that I can trust you that you're going to do a job that we need to get done together. And that's one of the biggest things from a head coach's position, is you want to surround yourself with consistency and trust. And I love your passion, and I love observing you, particularly Coach Morgan. We have a shorter relationship than Coach Stumbo and I have, but you know, watching you coach at Star Search, I knew kind of right away that this is a guy that I want to have involved. So I just want to ask you, Coach Morgan, kind of before we start to wrap it up, just what it means to you to be part of the national program, and what you think you can do, and the skills that you think you can bring to make us better and get us where we want to go.
I just want to say thank you for observing me over the years. I mean, it's a privilege being a part of the national program. Of course, this is the highest level of coaching in Jamaica, and it's not easy to get a foot in at the highest level in coaching. So of course, there must have been something that you would have seen within that have really convinced you to select me in being a part of the national program. Um, in terms of what I have to offer, it will have to be a team effort. And of course, there is no I in team, and there is no I in coach as well. So it is definitely a team effort. Of course, I will try to do my best as a coach. I will not say that of course, I am the best coach or the most brilliant. But of course, I'll try to do my best, of course, as a national coach and representing my country at the highest level.
Well, I know you will, and I know both of you are passionate about the game. I know both of you are passionate about making players better, and I certainly know that both of you are passionate about your country, and that you share the belief that I do, that we are going to get to where we want to go, and it's going to be with people like you. It's not going to be people like me. It's going to be people like you that make it happen. So super excited to have you on the staff, Coach Morgan, and you are going to do great things with us, and we are going to do some great things together. I like winners as well, so I'll leave you with this picture right here. 2017 champions still playing. What league
Yes,
is
that's
this?
that's the EBL.
All
Not,
right.
yeah, that's the Western League.
All right.
I mean, we have been winning for every year. We have been winning. It becomes so normal that the last championship that we won, it didn't even felt like a championship.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, because we always winning. We don't know we don't know what it feels to lose.
You getting sick of winning.
I'll be playing for a different team down there next season.
Hey, one thing I do want to let you guys go, and I have a bad habit of doing this. I tell you it's my last question, and then I think
That's fine. That's fine.
But one of the things that I want to make sure we don't neglect, and Coach Morgan, you also coached the women at GC Foster.
Yes,
And
I
I
coach.
know that at least both of you probably know Coach Black, who was coaching with Jamaica national women's team and some of the things that they're doing. And I want people to know that we're going to talk about that as we move ahead in this live stream series. We'll talk about the ladies and some of the good things they're doing. And I know they've been doing trainings in China, and they've been playing together a lot. And I guess I'll start with you, Coach Stumbo. What can you tell us about the female program and what you're seeing down there and what you're hearing and observing? I know Coach Rowan is involved as well. So what can you tell us about the females?
Yeah, you have also involved with the females. You have Coach Brown, O'Neill Brown.
Yeah.
Um, so pretty much the female program. They started the program. What they call it again? Basically a program that they work together with China, and some of the girls would go away to China and work out, and basically it's all about development, and staying together, active in basketball. Um, they use mainly players from colleges and high schoolers. They tend to target most of the high schoolers for the growth of the process. Um, of course, a coach at the high school level, and there are a couple of girls I can mention. Christina Bryan, a young 16-year-old Tissia Parker, who is really exceptionally well. You have like Tiffany. You have a lot from GC Foster. GC Foster has basically the national team competing for GC Foster. There's so much down there. You have Yui with a couple. You know, the girls are working out, but the truth is, there's a struggle because currently there's no female league playing in our country, which is very sad. They're doing several things. There was supposed to be a competition started this year, and unfortunately, we see what's happening with the world. So hopefully, it gets started whenever this is over. Uh, you have the college, the intercol competition, but um, enough colleges aren't participating, which is something that we have to figure out how to work to get more colleges involved um, with female basketball so it can be more competitive and we can have more girls competing.
Coach Morgan, question. I coached girls a few years ago, and I was worried about it because I've coached men and boys my whole life, and so I asked some coaches about it, and just because I didn't know if you had to do anything different. And one of the girls I talked to, Stumbo, you remember Leck, Coach Leck?
Yeah, like now, yeah.
Yeah, she was a all Big East point guard, I think. And she said, don't coach any differently. Don't do anything different. Treat them just the same. And so for the most part, I took that advice. But someone told me something funny, and that was if you're talking to your girls team and you're talking about just something in general happening with the team, every girl thinks you're talking about them. if you're talking to a boys team about the exact same thing, every boy thinks you're talking about somebody else. And I found that to kind of be true. And I just kind of wanted to ask what your experience was coaching the girls at GC Foster. It sounds like you had a pretty good group.
Before I get into that, I just want to say that Coach Black is actually doing a very good job down there in the West. He's coaching Herbert Marson. So he's also has a few titles under his belt as well. So he's actually doing a very good job. He's a very good coach. He's also one of my best friends as well also. So I just want to say thumbs up to him. We have won 4 titles together also at the GC Foster College. So
Yeah.
thumbs up to Coach Black. Also is the head coach with the female group that travels to China. So he's actually working with the girls that are in China as well. Also, I work with the same group, myself and Coach Black, on Saturdays at the Campion College, where we prepare the girls for going into China for their 2 to 3 months of camp. Um, yes, I do have a very good group at GC Foster College. That group, they started out with Mr. Remy Key, and then I got them for the last 2 years of their studies in college. They're very good players. Of course, yeah. As a coach working with the females, you have to be very patient. It takes that. It's not like the boys where you can just give the instructions and then they would jump at it and execute. But sometimes the girls may take a little time to process it. So you have to be patient with the girls as a coach. So there's no difference though in how you coach the girls and the boys, because from time to time the girls will say, "Coach, remember that we're girls, we're not the boys, so you're going too hard on us." And I said to them, if you spell basketball, it's the same way to spell. So so basketball in general is just basketball. All right, it's just 2 category, female and male, but it's still basketball. So I treat them the same. I give them the same intensity of training. And of course, whenever the season is ended, I mean, they would always say, try to find me and saying that, "Coach, can we have some session today, even though the season has ended?" So they still want that, regardless of how intense the training is. I mean, I don't really get that from the guys after the end of the season, but the girls will find me and still want to be in training. So they have a passion for it. I mean, one thing I hope for is that we can get a female league going. That's a club league. So even when these girls would finish um, their intercollegiate competition at the end of the 5 years or during their tenure of study in college, they would still get an opportunity to play some basketball at the club level.
Cool. All right. Before I let you go, and now I am actually going to let you guys go. I just want to make sure one thing, Coach Morgan, is that you make sure, because I know you don't know very much about physical fitness. I want you to go on the Facebook, and I want you to see Coach Stumbo's workout on Facebook, and I want to make sure that you're doing that to stay in shape during this shutdown period. Okay?
I that's what I do. I do more physical than coaching.
That's awesome, Coach
I mean,
Morgan. Thank you very much, man. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Okay?
all right,
Nice to
thank
meet you,
you.
Coach.
Yeah.
All right.
Big up, coach.
Coach Stumbo, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Go to bed.
Yeah, definitely. Nice.
See you around.
Okay, Mr.
Be
Rich.
well.
Yeah, later.
All right. See you. Goodbye.
Mianos, thank you.
Episode in the books.
Episode 11
Friday
is
night, COVID-19.
yeah. And we're just 48
Right on.
hours away from a new episode of The Last Dance. So that's what we'll be doing Sunday night, and we'll try
Exciting.
to get back
Very
together
exciting.
again on Monday for another
Sounds good, man.
episode. All right, thanks, bud. I'll talk to you later. All right, and thanks to everyone that checked us out today. Ricardo, thanks for all the comments too. Ricardo, Renee, Marlon, Saquon, Mr. Smith, Mr. Gilling, Sharon, Sandra. Let's see who else. Josh Kidd, one of my former players. That's awesome. So anyway, keep joining us. Keep tuning in. We'll be back again on Monday. I'll check Facebook and YouTube, and we'll let you know who the guest will be. And until then, Last Dance coming up on Sunday, and we'll talk about it next week. All right. Enjoy.